apples on fire and the bugs are really starting to grow. We made a grab on the Witch-Head Nebula. I think we poked a beat there, so I got the ships, I got them engineered, but now I need some new parts too. I'm running mad for the Guardian side, only need 1,002. Jump on board, come on, let's maul the crew. Jump on board, hey, you can see my flag suit too. Jump on board, or you can crash my new Taipan. Jump on board, let's make friends with the beautiful swarm. We'll go hunting for some bugs tonight, or looking in a source or two. So here's a list so you don't get pissed, jumping in and losing your cool. Threat 1, nothing but NPCs flying in the deep blue sky. Threat 2, maybe a Thargoid probe, move it and see if you die. Threat 3, a Thargoid scouts inbound, scratching on your paintwork fast. Threat 4, it's a cloud of debris, or watch it, baby, watch your ass. Threat 5, is that an interceptor, a Cyclops to look into your mind. Threat 6, or a basilisk, the king of serpents arise. Threat 7, you are going to heaven, but Jesus got you in her eyes. Threat 8, tries to scouts on a hydra, just keep the whole alive. Jump on board, come on, let's maul the crew. Jump on board, and you can see my flight suit too. Jump on board, or you can get my new Taipan. Jump on board, I think you found a beautiful swarm. I think it's looking at you. It's coming for you. Again, they're coming for you. Still they're coming for you. I think they're looking at you. Oh, they're gonna kill you. Oh yeah, they're coming for you. Non-human signal sources flashing in my mind. I think the bugs are trying to tell us to leave this place behind. Colonia seems so peaceful, but it's oh so far away. The bubble is full, we can lose 1,000 stations and still play. Elite, it's dangerous if you go looking for trouble. Elite, it's dangerous, I'm putting in Palin's rubble. Elite, it's dangerous, staring in Medusa's eyes. Elite, it's dangerous if you don't have a rebuy. Elite, it's dangerous if you go looking for trouble. Elite, and it's dangerous, I'm putting in Palin's rubble. Elite, and it's dangerous, staring in Medusa's eyes. Elite, and it's dangerous if you leave your rebuy behind. Don't forget your rebuy.
Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
And the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
and the fantastic
Community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from an orange sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads.
A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Diso.
The name of the place,
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 488 of Lave Radio, the show about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I am your very temporary host, Commander Psychic, otherwise known as Claire, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode are, hopefully, Colin at any moment. Colin's got a couple of PC issues. He should be back pretty shortly, I am hoping. We have with us our SRE Banksy, Commander Alec Turner. Hi, Alec.
Hello, hi, I'm back. I'll tell you what, shall I stall for time by doing a riposte to Loose Cruise and talking in my best American accent for whole show? Yes, I'm going to talk like this.
Oh, please don't. Absolutely not. Crikey.
Hello, I'm back.
Hi. We also have the lovely Chris Mark 5 here. I say lovely, I'm biased. Hi
there.
Chris.
Hello.
Hi. Cool, good stuff. No, Alec is not going to keep doing it. Absolutely not. We will also have Commander Indigo joining us a little bit later. If I'm not very much mistaken.
Yes, I believe so.
Incredible. Hopefully. If not, it's going to be a long show. I haven't finished filling in the question of the week in the show notes yet. Anyway.
We'll have a long advert break. It'll
be fine. We'll do like 80 adverts. It's not a problem. Okay. Colin will be back very shortly, I'm sure. If you can wish, you can't join us live because our people who are normally live are either doing the show, being our tech as well, like Chris Mark 5 is, or not here, like Chris Mark 4. And Ben is not with us this week because he's got, I think he's ill and family are ill. I think that's why.
He's got a lot on. Bless him.
He's got a lot on. He's doing stuff. So we're not hanging out in game in open. We haven't been joined by any commanders, but by all means, feel free to go over to Lave and just gather together like you normally do.
Yeah, I mean, our reserve table is free. If Chris isn't there, there's a table going spare, so go and grab it.
Exactly, go and grab it and let us know when you all get together. I don't know, share screenshots in the Discord or something. Cool. If you can't get in game, and there's no point, you can also join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live, clicking on live chat or you can go to twitch.tv/laveradio. Colin, please come back. I wasn't expecting this today. Hey, Alec, how you doing, mate? What you been up to, my love?
I left. What the hell?
Listen, it's just me. I'm doing the best I can. Okay.
No, we're doing great. Let's keep going. I'm all right. I'm good. I had a wonderful holiday, despite managing to take a cold with me and then nurture it nicely during the week and bring it back even worse. So if I mute occasionally, it's because I'm having a coughing fit, but I'm doing good at the moment. But yeah, we had a lovely cruise around bits of the Med. On I think Colin came up with this description, but it is effectively the seagoing equivalent of an orca. I think that's the middle one, isn't it?
Right.
So by modern standards, I mean it's a big ship, but by modern standards, it's not massive. It's not a beluga. I like to think of it as the biggest of the ship-shaped ships. It's not a floating block of flats. It looks like a ship, which I quite like.
Right.
At least that's what I tell myself.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, there are some ships that are. It's more. It's yeah.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of grace and elegance to it from a former age. But yeah, it's really good. We went to all sorts of places. We went to Palma in Mallorca. We went to Ajaccio in Corsica. I bloody love Corsica. I could retire there. It's beautiful. We went to Civitavecchia in Italy.
Civitavecchia, yay!
Civitavecchia.
It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite places. You get a train there to Rome, and it's wonderful.
We didn't do Rome because Rome was a big trip, and it was a bit much for my son. It was like a 10-hour trip. Instead, we went to this fantastic place called I'm going to butcher this, called Bracciano Castle.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know it? Wow. Maybe?
Vaguely, I know of it. I know of its proximity. Yeah,
it is famous. So it's a beautiful medieval castle, and it overlooks this fantastic Italian lake. It's semi-famous because Tom Cruise hired the entire place to get married to Katie Holmes there.
Of course he did.
Of course he did. And so I just kept wandering around trying to imagine how all these rich celebs got there, because it's quite remote. I imagined lots of helicopters landing on its grounds and things, but yeah, beautiful. And got absolutely hammered on sangria, which was hilarious.
Wow. I do enjoy a sangria. It's good.
We went to a sangria making workshop, which basically consisted of tipping rum, brandy, vermouth, and red wine into a big jug, and then swirling it around with some sugar and throwing some orange slices in, and then downing it.
I need to know which was better, the chair making workshop or the sangria making workshop.
Oh, the chair making workshop.
I mean, man.
The sangria making workshop was an hour of pissed up fun and then a hangover, whereas the chair making workshop was a week of soul filling fulfillment.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Cool. And then in game, I've missed a lot. I've been desperate because when you're on if anyone's ever been on a cruise, the Wi-Fi situation is not good, so you kind of have to just let go of the internet for a week, really. But I have a lot of catching up to do because it feels like it's been busy in the game. There's all sorts of stuff that I didn't get to talk about. I didn't get to talk about winning my first ever buckyball race. Yes,
we did talk about it on your. I wasn't here.
I'm glad someone mentioned it. And I didn't get to talk about ARX prices going up and drag my soapbox out on that, and I missed all sorts of stuff. But I have been running around with the new Super Cruise Overcharge drive, and I think it's a game changer. I bloody love it. It's fantastic. I've been farming high-grade emission sources. I've been which is all about the Super Cruise Overcharge. It's a game changer, isn't it? I really feel it's like awesome. It's just awesome.
It's really good. It's really good. I really like it. I've got a lot of time. I also have a lot of time for it. It's really good. I'm going to very tentatively ask if Colin is there.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh,
yes. Yay!
It all depends on whether or not Virgin let me stay with you.
Wow. Okay, well, I am on tenterhooks to find out if what's happening. We did get a little bit of a Discord dropout then with Alec. I'm not sure, like if you seem to disappear. But hopefully we've got, Discord...
I hope I'm not expecting this. It's just awful.
No. If Discord's on the fritz, we're just going to write this off as a bad job and just have a chat.
Pretty much. Well, one word every other time. Okay. I had to go to Scotland to sort out a few things, so that was a 8. That wasn't exactly uplifting.
Wait a second. Did Discord drop for everyone else then as well, or was it just me? Okay, right. So
rewind 10 seconds, Colin.
We're having Discord issues too.
Oh, typical.
Run that by us one more time.
Right. Well, I went up to Scotland, drove up by myself, sort of 6-7 hours. That was fun. Stayed for a night, back again, 6-7 hours. I wouldn't recommend it. Let's see. In game, as Alec has said, I have been running around with the new frameshift drive, and I absolutely love it as well. To me, it's an absolute game changer because normally when I do a stream, I can normally do about 3 missions on one stream. This time I was doing 6 within an hour. So, yep. That's pretty good. And I guess we can move on to the next person.
Hey, hubby. What have you been up to, mate, the last week?
Well, at the end of last week, I finished engineering my Python Mark II, and then I went to see what it's like to try and beat up a Titan, and then realised it's not as good as my Crate Mark II. It's a lot more squishy because there's less internals. But Thuman's fun on it, so yeah. This week, not much in game. Played some Cyberpunk again. Started a new playthrough.
Have you?
Yep.
Oh, don't get me started on that. That has been my game of the week. This has. I
haven't got there yet.
So yeah.
No, I mean, I did discover all these settings. You know, and the NVIDIA assistant that comes up.
Yeah.
And it'll give you it'll say, right, okay, this is what you've got. This is what happens when we optimize.
Do you mean the NVIDIA control panel or the thing that the GeForce Experience thing?
The GeForce Experience.
Okay.
And I clicked on the optimize, went back into Cyberpunk, and it had ray tracing everywhere. The rain bounced off puddles, and you looked up, you could see the reflections of the puddles, and
that's interesting. If I get it, I might have to contact you about that because so those settings weren't obvious in the game itself.
No, they weren't obvious in the game itself, and optimized. Sorry, Chris, back to you.
Yeah, that's it. Other than I've been staying away from my computer most evening because it's too darn warm, and also last week my computer shut itself down randomly. So, yeah.
Well, that's not a good sign.
I think it's just.
Hang on. No, wait a second. What else did you do? You took your computer fully apart, cleaned it out entirely,
yeah,
and put it back together.
Yeah, but I haven't done the CPU. I need to take the cooler off.
Yeah, I know. We need to do that.
Redo that and get a little stand to lift off the ground. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Yes, that's. Well, I don't envy that. I do look at my tower next to the desk and think, okay, I'm going to have to clean that. Definitely.
I just like hide it out of my mind and pretend it doesn't need any cleaning or anything like that. And then in a year's time, when I open it and die from dust inhalation, that's on me. You know, it's entirely. Well, when I get you to look, it's under my desk. It's raised under my desk. You know how brittle I am. The slightest movement could pop anything at any moment.
That's right. Use those disability benefits.
Listen, my guys, let me have this. But yeah. Okay. So what have I been up to? I have not played a lot of Elite. I played some on last Thursday. I am in a process of. I did a lot of gathering engineering materials because it was good stuff. It's been good stuff. It's been good to do. Get some more engineering materials. My original plan was to engineer every frame shift drive or buy the SCO drive on every ship that I had and then engineer it. And then I thought, well, they're reworking engineering. And I was like, if they rework it in my favor, and I've done all of this fucking collecting, and it's gonna have been a lot of work, and then they're like, you know what, Claire, you didn't need to do all of that work. I'm like, okay.
Yes. Yeah, I know
So-
exactly what you mean.
So I picked 6. I just picked 6 and did 6 ships. Ones that I thought I would need to use. Planned a couple of different Python Mark II builds, and I'm currently collecting for another Python Mark II build, which will be great. Alec. Hi.
Yeah, I don't know if I had a note in my personal show notes for the night of things I wanted to touch on. This may be the moment. I was curious about people's thoughts on the new SEO and the fact that it makes the old frameshift drives basically redundant, and that it just basically makes them redundant. What do you think on that?
I don't know necessarily that it does make it entirely redundant, because it's more fuel guzzling. So yeah, not by a huge amount, but it is.
Do you mean doing jumps, or do you mean just doing normal?
Okay. Yeah, well, doing jumps and doing the SEO thing. So I can see a situation wherein it would be more beneficial to have the non-SEO drive, but I can't see many.
Yeah.
No.
Many situations. Especially for my play style, I don't feel like I benefit from keeping it vanilla.
Yeah, it's fine. I was initially quite cross about it. I'm not cross is the wrong word.
Vanilla.
Because there were people on the forum saying things like, "Oh, why does there have to be a trade-off? When some new modules release, why can't it just be better in all regards? Why does there have to be this trade-off?" And I was sort of thinking, well, in a game that just does, because if you make something that just replaces something else, then I don't know. There's no need for that old thing, and especially if people have worked hard for the old thing. But I've kind of changed my mind on that. I suspect Frontier have agonized over this and gone with it, because having used the overcharged Super Cruise drive, it just feels like it almost should have always been there. It just feels like so right and so brilliant.
Yeah.
That I can't imagine ever not wanting it now. And so the idea of having to suffer some sort of arbitrary downside to fitting it, I think I would feel a bit miffed, actually, and so I can see why they've gone, let's just make it really good and make it the new frameshift drive, because I wouldn't want to not have it, and I would hate the thought of having to go, but I'm going to have to suffer that downside in order to have this fantastic new game facility. So I think I'm all right with it now.
Cool. Okay. Outside of Elite, things that I've been doing, I've been playing. There's been a good solid amount of indie games that have come out over the last couple of days that I'm really this week that I'm really, really interested in, and we're eating really well, and I don't have time to play all of them, and it's a bit of a shocker. There is a game that comes out on Thursday, which the company, the devs were very, very kindly sent me a key for, which I've played today, which I could still be playing now. I had to wrench myself away to do other things before coming onto Lave, because I was enjoying it so much. The game is called Galactica. If I was to describe it, I'm trying to think of a really good way to describe it. It's like 2 Point Hospital in space. It's just such a good game. And I've been playing that a lot. There's a couple of other games that are coming out which are really cool. I've been playing more Horizon Zero Dawn, which I am incredibly I don't know what's going on about it. I've got more questions than answered. It's a really good slow burn with a story. But yeah, aside from that, that's pretty much been my week.
Excellent. Okay, well, moving on to the development news. What have the devs said this week? Well, we actually had release last Thursday, 18.05, in which they fixed 3 issues. They fixed the issue with the Guardian fighters hit check not behaving correctly, which was that you would shoot at a Guardian fighter and you could never hit them, which was useful if you were flying one, So they fixed that. You are now back to your glass cannon. So they've also fixed an issue where you are attempting to swap the core internal modules with a store module being blocked for pre-built ships. So that was quite a big one. Glad they got that one out of the way. And finally, they ensured that new players remain in solo until their initial hyperspace jump, which they will then transition them into open play. I didn't know it did this, but apparently
I didn't know either.
Apparently, it was only discovered when some griefers discovered this and started hanging around the newbie system. So yeah,
has that always been the case? Always been supposed to be the case then? That
it's supposed to be, yeah. When you are starting off in, even from the very first time, you were supposed to launch from this, from a station or from a platform, and that instance to which you launched in, you were in solo, and then as soon as you made a hyperspace jump, it was whatever mode that you had chosen. But the first launch was always supposed to be in solo.
Right.
Do you think Frontier mean it then when they say it transitions into open? Or do you think it transitions into whatever mode they picked when they started the game?
I think it should transition into whatever mode they picked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we could ask for clarification on that.
Because there was another interesting discussion on this about why should it throw them into open, and I could see the case for it. I could see okay. This is slightly contentious and depends entirely on how people view the game. I suppose I view Elite Dangerous as an MMO, so you're in there with other players, and so I can see the idea that you start new players in open. And that if they don't like it, they have the option to jump into solo. It's like it's an MMO, but if you don't like it, hey, we've got solo. Other people, I think their view is that you throw new players into solo, and if they choose to switch to open, then that's a choice they should make. I don't know which way other people feel. I quite like the idea that you throw people into Oppo and they see other players and they get the feeling that they're in a game with other people and they see hollow squares and they go, oh, that's cool, that's another commander. And then if they get grief, they go, I don't like this, I'm going into solo. But
no, they won't say, I don't like this, I'm going into solo. I'll go, I don't like this, and quit the game and uninstall.
Yes, okay, interesting.
That's my experience. First time you get griefed in Eve, what's the first thing you do? Oh, right,
fuck that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Or have a long discussion about why you feel it's so important to you to make new players make them aware that there are going to be people who are going to fuck with you. Anyway, that's a different story entirely. The chat is saying. Is saying that you make the commander, you go into the tutorial, and there is no moment at that point where you pick open or solo or anything along those lines. I can't remember because it has been that long, and I can't be asked to create a new commander, so or reset an account. So I don't know which is accurate, but I just wanted to point it out because maybe we're misremembering.
No,
I suppose it's a bit pointless throwing them into any one mode because then they log off and then the next day they play and they're presented with 3 buttons. So from thereafter, it's a choice. So
yeah, I suppose,
arbitrary, isn't it?
Yeah, so moving on from there, we do have to point out that it's still in solo mode. It's not actually into the newbie area. I only discovered the fact that the only time you actually go into the proper newbie area is if you start in legacy mode.
Yep.
Didn't realize that. I thought as soon as you finished the ship tutorial, that was it. You were in the newbie area. I think I know there's a ticket out for it already. I just can't believe they missed that, to be honest.
How long's that been broken for?
That's been broken since Odyssey. we're only noticing it now. But what with this push for, I get the feeling that they're pushing to try and get new players in. What with making things easier and things like that. That any new players really need to be protected and coddled from the nasty griefers until at least they're mostly harmless. Moving on there, we've had the official Elite Dangerous account trolling the king. Isn't that treason?
Nah, it's been memeing, mate. It's a meme. Let me explain to you, old man, what a meme is.
Oh, get off my lawn.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was neat. I thought it was neat.
Yeah, it's funny.
Whoever is manning the socials at the moment, and I really want to give, like, I'm pretty sure it's Phil and Paul that are doing or are clearly doing the lion's share of a lot of the work, because I think it's just Phil, Paul, and Arthur that are the community management team at the moment. There might be some other people, but I'm not 100% sure as to who they might be. But I highly recommend looking for any Planet Zoo stuff that's being done at the moment, because the memes are heavy over on the Planet Zoo channel. So I'm really glad that they are starting to push some memes over onto Elite, because sometimes Elite, in the grand scheme of things, takes itself, I don't know if you've noticed, it takes itself a little bit seriously. And I'm enjoying seeing this little bit of frivolity there. It's very cool.
It's nice
Right.
seeing them getting involved with, doing social stuff on social media. Like, it's been a long time.
You are not wrong.
Yeah. So, moving on from there, well, I guess we'll have to hand over to Alec.
And now, to the community coroner.
It's a dead game, innit, mate?
Here we go. Dead game, innit?
In it.
There's a few things I've trawled around the internet to find. I'm still getting up to speed after my holiday, to be honest, but here we go. I found a couple of things. Dituri's Elite is back with another guide. It's quite a fun one. He's looking at the Python Mark II, as is everyone. If I'd wanted to, I could have filled this week's community corner with Python Mark II videos. But Dituri's done quite a fun one, because he takes a Python Mark II and tries it out for a few different things. He tries it out for mining, he tries it out for smuggling, and what else? Piracy. I think he did a video on piracy using a kind of trick to sort of ram people and bring their ships to a stop and then loot and pillage them. And so he was trying all those different activities in a Python Mark II. And I think the conclusion was it was all right. Like a lot of things in Elite, you could make this ship do those things, but it wasn't actually brilliant at them, and it was a bit of a war horse and a fighter ship primarily. But it's good, yeah, fun video. Next, there's a video popped up today. I confess I haven't watched it yet. Commander Meccan has been putting out a lot of videos these days. He's obviously sort of manning the Titan offensive and keeping us updated on goings on there. So he's finally presenting the kind of AXI's findings on the Python Mark II and what it's good at. What do they call those graphs where you have an S and then A, B, C, and D as different ratings? I think there's probably a proper
It's like a ranking graph, I think, just a rank list.
That kind of thing. So he's got a rank list for the Python Mark II for a whole bunch of different, primarily, I think, AXI activities. Not especially my bag, but if people are interested in all the deep, deeply considered and carefully, carefully considered details on the Python Mark II, then that's probably the best place to get them. Next up, there's it's just a compilation of old High Wake cartoons, which he's done in the past. So he's done another sort of catch up. It's about 10 minutes long compilation of High Wake animations that are all just so brilliant. It's just a joy to see all these again, and that 10 minutes flew past. So strongly recommended that people give that a watch. It's good fun. Next, and the Hutton Run speed record rumbles on. I thought it had sort of bottomed out on what people could achieve with the Hutton speed record, but while I've been on holiday, people have been setting whole new limits. So I was going to shout out congratulations to Stargoid's team because I saw a tweet from them on Twitter, and that includes Epaphras and Gilroll and Options None, who'd broken the 30-minute barrier, which is pretty damn awesome. Had managed to do a team Hutton Run in 29 minutes 32 seconds. But literally, as I was about to sort of reply to their tweet and congratulate them, I thought I better just check my facts. And sadly, no, Acilia Ran has come back and beaten them by 1 minute and 30-something seconds. So the new Hutton record now stands at 28 minutes and 3 seconds, which is pretty damn stunning.
It's bonkers nonsense,
it's
is
good,
what
isn't
it
it?
is. It's great.
It's amazeballs. I love it. But what I will say to Stargoid's team, including Epiphras, Gilroll, and Options None, is they were the ones who broke the 30-minute barrier, and nobody can take that away from you. So good job. Next up,
It's so much like you were just patting him on the head then. Well done, you. Well nicely done.
Well done. I'm sorry you're not first anymore, but well done. Oh dear. Speaking of racing, I'm hoping we have Commander Indigo in chat from over in Loose Screws Land.
Hey everybody, in fact you do.
Hello.
Awesome sauce. Hello, how are you?
Great, glad to be here.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us about your absolutely bloody fantastic new race, which I've just started practicing for today.
Well, I'm just so tickled that people are excited about it. I was pretty anxious right up until the moment it dropped, but this next race in the Buckyball tournament is called the Ring Tossers Rally, and it's set in Ross 104. And apparently, unlike all previous Buckyball races, at least the ones I've been aware of, it starts and ends at the same place in the same system and never leaves that system.
Yeah, it feels completely unique. You know, it's not an SRV race, and it's not like a. I suppose apart from Preshow, which was kind of going round and round different stations,
right.
but it feels completely unique in that it's just super cruising around a single system. I love it.
It's great.
Tell me about it then, for someone who hasn't read the forum post, because I've been too hyper focused on other games that I've been playing and not listening to any other information. Tell me entirely about what's the premise and what made you decide on doing something that is completely out of the box in a way.
For sure, I had the idea a while back just because I was stunned by how much fun there is to be had flying in Super Cruise once you start doing something like Buckyball, and saw how much it transformed my ability to get missions run and everything else, and had no idea at the time that a game-changing update to the fundamental mechanics would show up right in time for it. It's a really simple concept. You just take off and fly through the rings of every ringed body in the system, essentially. So it's kind of a slalom. Or a local rally. And the system that I found eventually, after a fair bit of searching, has 8 ringed bodies that are all within about 3,000 light seconds of Bunch City, which is a great name for a space station. And of those 8 worlds, 3 of them are in binary pairs. So it's theoretically possible to get a good line that gets you through 2 sets of rings without having to slow down, but more likely will end up in profanity and loops of shame and occasional running into a ring and having to wait for your FSD to reboot. But there are no landings. There's no stop and start other than at the beginning and the end.
Right. Okay.
End of it. So it's a local rally just in that system going through a bunch of rings.
So you know what's really good about that is there's a lack of an excuse for poor connection as well. You know, like when you're jumping between systems and things like that.
And you get the 30-second tunnel,
Yeah.
You have the clock running for sure.
That's cool.
There's so many, just from practicing this morning, there's just so many lovely little subtleties. So, I mean, I'm sure you're going to cover this, Indigo, but one neat thing is that the unlimited, we've still got the Super Cruise overcharge allowed. But for regulation, we're sticking with the good old Sirius frameshift drive, so no Super Cruise overcharge.
Yeah, one of the reasons I picked that system was to find one where it wouldn't be dumb and obnoxious having to spend 10 minutes getting to the next body so that you can zip through it. And also the next generation chips, which right now is just the Python Mark II, aren't allowed.
Yeah.
So you can only use the Super Cruise overcharge on ships that weren't designed for it. And it feels that way. It really does.
Yeah, it's great. Like I was discovering today that I got lucky just because I wanted to see how fast I could go through the ring. So I managed to hit 14 times the speed of light. But that was a fluke because because of the instability and there's quite narrow gaps between these rings and their bodies. So generally you can't do it. So then it becomes really interesting about when you're going to use it. Because what I found is with the cooldown of the thing, if you decide you're going to use it to say, try and speed through the ring gap a bit faster, then when you actually want to use it to get to the next body in the system, you suddenly find the damn thing's on cooldown. So a bit like normal boost, I suppose, you have to sometimes use it sparingly and choose when is the best moment to use it. So that's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky too because we're used to watching the ETA timer or the distance to figure out when to slow down and start spiraling into something, and all that stuff goes by so quickly. And the acceleration rates seem even across all the different engine types. I haven't really explored a lot about deceleration, but just from using them for running missions and things like that,
Yeah.
my standard is to turn the throttle all the way down because it's plenty fast, and then as soon as you shut it off, turn the throttle back up, and you get back into trying to see if you can get to the planet without having to spin around an extra time or two. Yeah, I'm just so thrilled that everybody really seems to be digging it. I had a good time cruising around in a hauler as soon as they released the SCOs, trying to make sure that it was still fun and would still be doable. And I'm pleased that the people who are doing the practicing right now are being somewhat open about the kinds of speeds they're getting, because calibrating the bonus, there's going to be a Barnstormer's bonus that relates to your top speed going through a set of rings.
Yeah.
And
I
don't want
don't
to
envy
set
you
it so
that
high that
because
everybody just
because depending on how you so the idea, as I understand, is you'll have a bonus for so you'll end up essentially with it'll be a video, but you can have a screenshot of you passing through each of 8 ring gaps, and the speed in that screenshot can get you a bonus, because you need some incentive for people to go fast. Otherwise, why would they bother going fast, I suppose. But if you have too much incentive, the trouble is that speeds can vary from a few hundred megameters per second to, well, I hit 14 times the speed of light today. But you've got to be careful that the bonus doesn't end up with people like, if I did that on every body, I don't want to end up with a score of minus 365 hours.
right. Or make the I'm thinking it's going to be the highest speed reached going through one, but even then you don't want to build it so much that everyone spends most of the week just flying at maximum speed into the first set of rings they reach and then going back to start.
I'm
so they
always
can
really
get
wary of bonuses on
bonus or
races
something.
where they
Yeah.
dominate the race, and the fundamental idea of the race, which is to go racing through these 8 planets, becomes irrelevant, and everyone's just obsessed with getting the huge bonus.
Yeah, I'm excited about the prospect of being able to watch it. It's one of the things that people don't really experience much in Super Cruise, that if you haven't done it, you can get right up next to somebody and see their ship as you're flying faster than the speed of light. And we've tried a couple of times to have people in a wing stay together so that you can kind of fly in formation, and it's very difficult. And the idea of being able to watch it sort of like people watch a bicycle race, where you camp out on a street corner somewhere in Belgium and wait for the ships to go soaring by. Maybe we'll do we have one day to get your times in or something like that. Try versions of this same kind of race that are a little bit more not quite live racing, because that doesn't necessarily work in Elite at the scales that we'd want it to, but compressing things together by making it a midweek mini or something like that. Yeah, it's a nice change from min-maxing jump distances and all the route planning spreadsheets that a buckyball race usually entails.
I really like that this race still has route planning in that I think we all know this, but it often isn't an issue because we're only going to one place in a system. But it's not you can end, because obviously bodies are all orbiting the central star. It can sometimes be the case that it's further from, say, the third moon to the fourth moon, because you're going right across the system from one side to the other, than it is from the first moon to the eighth moon, because they might be on the same side. And so there's this wonderful three-dimensional route plotting that has got me opening the orrery view for the first time. It's weird. I was saying to somebody today, I loved the idea of the orrery view. I always wanted one in the game. And then when Frontier implemented it, I kind of didn't use it nearly as much as I thought. And this has really made me use the orrery view, because you need to see where the bodies are around the star, so you can literally plan your route around the system to be optimal. I really like that. I think that's great when something like this race or some event makes you appreciate, an aspect of the game that you haven't really used very much.
I mean, there's really no way to use anything else. There isn't like an external third party thing that shows like an orrery, an up-to-date orrery or plots like that. So it really is just before you take off for that specific run, working out what order of planets that you would do them in.
Yeah, I think so. I think some people have looked at the maths a bit, and the bodies aren't actually moving that quickly, that things aren't going to change very much during the week. But I think it's definitely a case of when you sit down to have your however many hour, hour or 2 hour elite session to do some racing, that you at least at the beginning of that want to open up your or review and plan the route for the day.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is great. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. That's really cool. It's something to think about, and it's cool that it sort of. You're not. I wanted to point out that it's cool that you're not relying on a external thing, because one of the first things that I do is whenever we've got a race on and I fully intend to participate, especially in this one, I open up something like Commander's Toolbox and get that to work out for me.
Yes, same. I confess. I don't. Yeah, I normally can't be doing with.
Yeah, fuck that. I ain't working it out on my own. Jeez. But with this, you're actually sort of forced to work out yourself, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. So Indigo, when does it start and finish and stuff like that?
It follows the usual buckyball pattern, which is that it'll start this coming weekend. I can never remember what time of day it is, but the same as always. It starts on I guess Friday night for us, Saturday morning for you guys probably, and then runs through the following weekend. So you'll have a week plus a day or two to get some times in. And I suspect I'm going to end up watching a lot of videos and checking a lot of transit times to get the bonuses. But so I just wanted to add that one of the things that I really like about excluding the SCO drives from regulation, and it remains to be seen to what extent that remains a convention in buckyball. I suspect it'll change from race to race, but is that there are two kind of mechanics that come into play that are basically irrelevant with the SCO drives. One is the pattern of having to jump out of the system and back in as a route planning endeavor. If you've got a 45-degree angle between sets of planets, you go off in one direction and then jump out and back in and start from the center again and go out the other way. And then also there's just that the dynamics of flying, especially now that they've changed the error and the warning message to indicate gravity wells, to be flying in a system where gravity has an effect. I don't know if anybody remembers, there was a paper somebody, I think from Canon, put out years ago about the Super Cruise dynamics and the effect of
that really
flying
detailed
near a
one.
star.
It's like a PhD.
That it basically comes down to, you want to point away from what you're trying to get to in an amount that's kind of proportionate to where the main star is. So you want to take kind of curving optimal routes, or at least be aware of the presence of planets along the way. And both those things are pretty much removed when you've got nitrous strapped to the back of your ship.
Yeah, I felt
and the speeds are so logarithmic. Yeah, you're basically just going in a straight line and hoping you can let off the gas and hit the brake quickly enough.
So, just got one question that Sunday in chat has asked. Some of the planets have multiple rings. Will flying between ring 1 and 2 count, or does it need to be between 1 and the planet? Because I refuse to go to the forums, for they are a silly place.
that is an excellent question, and I think successfully traversing the rings in either way is sufficient. I had considered putting in an extra bonus for going through one of the skinny gaps between the rings, but at the speeds that the contenders are likely to be passing, I'm willing to entertain the notion of getting from one side to the other, going through the skinny gap or going through the gap in the middle is plenty fine with me.
Even more choices.
I can't see much advantage in trying to go through the skinny gap.
Yeah, no, I can't. I like it's far too much concentration. Oh, Shay's like, there's less gravity, you can go faster, it's much better.
If Shay says it's better, then it's better.
Oh, interesting. Well, say if you want to make the trade-off between a skinny passage for a little more velocity, then by all means, Shay, go for it.
I don't want to make a comment about skinny passages. We're reducing this to its core parts now. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Discretion is the better part of valor.
Yeah,
there was one little thing that struck me today, Indigo, while I was practicing was you can fly through that gap so quickly, when you're doing multiple times the speed of light, that you can end up like if you've got video evidence and you're looking for the frame that clearly shows you are about to go through the gap, but also includes the best speed you can get. I can imagine we're literally going to be looking at 1 or 2 frames.
Yeah, the other thing I was thinking of is the indication of whether or not Super Cruise overcharge is engaged. I don't think there is one. I was just going to say that
no, there is, because it was on my screenshot. But do you care?
Well, I was just thinking if I have a time that's just before transit and it's disengaged, then I can presume they're decelerating. But if it's engaged, they might be accelerating, and I might have to look through a couple of frames. But I don't imagine it'll really make much of a difference. But
what would you prefer, video or screenshots?
Really either. I have done plenty of races via screenshot. I think folks will have a hard. Well, no, I'd say if you can get 2 screenshots, on either side of passing through with some proximity, that's fine. I have a lot of sympathy for people who play on potato machines that might not be able to reliably record 20 minutes of video while they're playing. So I think you could absolutely make it work by screenshots, but I don't have a preference one way or the other.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, there's more community news.
Oh,
finish up.
Hold on, there's one more element. I would be
go.
completely remiss if I forgot to mention it, and that is that this race is sponsored by a Loose Screws staple, Niebla's artisanal tritium, which any friendly person can get loaded onto their fleet carrier for a reasonable price in Lambda Andromedae, and they've put up a prize of 3,000 tons of tritium for the winners in each class.
I really need
if you don't have
but I can't.
Carrier, so if you don't have a fleet carrier, it might end up being 784 tons of tritium in a Type 9, or however many you can squeeze into a cutter. But we'll figure something out.
I'd really like that tritium. I'm definitely not going to win.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I would do with it, not having a fleet carrier, but I
give it to me.
I shall win
Alec,
for glory.
give it to me.
I shall win the race for the glory and give the tritium to Psychic.
Yes! Come on, Alec, you can do it.
If you miss the podium, you can always just stop by the Loose Screws Discord and say, I'm parked in Lambda and I'll pay X number of credits for some tritium, and before you know it, you'll be soaring off into the stars.
Honestly, I tend to just put the price up full, and then the tritium fairies fill it overnight anyway. It's not a problem. I do like the tritium fairies. They're a good bunch of folks.
Yeah, so once you get past this point of scarcity where credits are concerned, it gets easier to have somebody fill your fleet carrier for you.
And to be honest, if you're shelling out $6.5 billion on a fleet carrier, credits aren't that much of an issue anymore.
Exactly. So it's more of a friendly courtesy and excuse to get people to come say hi. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, stop by.
That's lovely. That's so cool.
I love the banner as well.
Oh, thank you.
Is that an AI generated?
Several bits of them kind of stitched together. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good. Shall I round up community corner, Psychic?
Please do.
Okay. It's going to be difficult because I didn't put the next one in. Ricardo Gaming's fleet carrier changes. Looking at ways that fleet carriers could be improved. I haven't seen this. Is it good?
I haven't watched it either. I don't know who put it in. Probably Colin, I would have thought. It's a video on how fleet carriers could be changed. I haven't seen it. It seems to have got some good reception. So go and check it out.
I will watch that tomorrow. And last of all, I don't know, I could have saved this for the end, but we'll do it now. ECM 2024. Tickets have gone. You might have. Did you say this on last week's show? I don't know when it actually happened. Tickets for ECM 2024 are now on sale. That is the Elite Community Meet convention that's being held in Reading, same venue as last year. Lovely big hotel. There are also nearby hotels where you can get rooms. It's ECM's great. If you haven't been to ECM, it's less of a kind of panel focused thing. So there's not a full program of panels and things through the day, but it's just great. It's a sort of great convention to meet like-minded elite commanders, and there's just loads of things to do. There's
I saw
Legos and games and.
I saw someone mentioning early in Discord when we were talking about it, saying, "Oh, they were worried about going to ECM because it was more of a they were under the impression that it was more of just like a bunch of commanders like getting together and having a few drinks, when it's really not. There is so many people bring shit for you to do and get on with. You can be that commander. Hi, I am that commander who just sits around and drinks all day and chats to people. You can be that commander. However, there are plenty of other things for you to be getting on with throughout the day. Last year was so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, so a few examples of that. So last year there was one entire wall of the sort of central meeting room, I suppose, was just filled with every kind of ancient computer and video console you could imagine, dating back to, I suppose, 1984 and maybe earlier. Basically everything that Elite ran on. And there were people sort of manning that, sort of fans who put all that stuff together, so you could just sit and play old video games and relive your your glory days if you're the same sort of age as some of us. There was a racing simulator set up at the back, so there were 4 proper car racing rigs where you could sit down with pedals and steering wheels and race against each other. There was a Lego building challenge. Jude was there doing paintings for people. I think there were tabletop games. There were at least 5 or 6 different tables with tabletop games of various sorts going on. So yeah, masses to do.
Yeah,
they also had thing.
Go on.
The seat that you sat in, and when you flew around in Elite, it moved the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And full motion simulator.
And the bridge. Oh, what Starship Bridge Simulator?
It's not Bridge Crew. What's it called?
Was it not
Starship Simulator?
No. It's not that. It's the one where you all take different controls. And
somebody
you take
takes engineering,
teams.
somebody's the captain, somebody takes weapons.
Yeah, it's really good.
And none of us
really
can
good,
remember
and you
its
have
name now.
Artemis.
Yeah. I launched so many nuclear missiles.
You launched so many nuclear missiles. It was really fun. It was that was the one thing I genuinely took part in all day. The rest of it was just sitting around chatting to people that I don't see very often. If that doesn't sound like your thing, and you are based in the Southwest and you are fancying somewhere to go in Bristol for a few drinks a few weeks before, and that is genuinely a bunch of commanders getting around, sitting around having a few drinks in a beer garden. Sometimes there's a dog. I think there might even be a baby coming this time. We're doing Lovely Meetup, which we did last year. We had lovely meet up in Bristol, and it was so much fun, and it was such a lovely, legitimately a lovely event that we're doing it again. So yeah, there will be details in the show notes of that. There's a few commanders going, and it would be lovely to see you.
Lovely. Yep, I'm planning on coming.
Hey, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Beers, beers, and puppy and fun.
Can we just double back to ECM? Just say that if you are thinking about going and haven't booked everything yet, join the ECM Discord, because we kind of broke the hotel.
We did.
So yeah, join the ECM Discord if you are interested in going, because we broke the hotel and there's more information in there.
Yeah. The rooms at the main venue are very expensive, but there is a discount code, a significant discount code, but they've been having problems applying it. So yeah, just join the Discord, and it's being sorted out as we speak, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Absolutely fingers crossed. Yeah. Folks, we had a Colin temporarily. We have lost a Colin temporarily. So you're back stuck with me. Indigo, are you hanging around with us today? Are you going to chat with us today?
I think I'll stick around and chip in, sure.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Lovely to have you here.
You guys are doing a great job. Actually, I'll just excuse myself.
I mean, if you want to, either way, it's fine.
No, I'll stick around and chat. Sure.
This epic clusterfuck that is currently happening, by all means.
That's never happened to us. Not once. Not once. Time.
Not once, folks. If you do have a community event taking place soon, and you would like for us to shout about it across the airwaves, please tweet the crew at Lave Radio or email info@laveradio.com. It would be remiss of me to talk about elite events that have happened over the last week without talking about the massive amount of fundraising that happened over the weekend for Special Effect, with a wonderful selection of commanders. Congratulations to all of those. I cannot remember what the final figure was. I know they topped the five grand mark. I didn't know how much further they got from that, but congratulations to all of them.
Bravo.
That's fantastic.
Let's move on. I also did a fundraiser on Saturday night, and we raised like £1,500 for British Red Cross, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. It was over 7.5K. Amazing. Cool. It was a great weekend of fundraising. Lots of my friends raised lots of money, so fucking yes. Good. Love to see it. What has happened this week as far as in-game events have happened? We've had no Galnet.
Shocking, isn't it? I hang on, hold that thought. I mean, because it's related. I bookmarked a forum thread because I didn't want to discuss the forum thread because it was just people bitching as usual. But the subject line caught my eye. The subject line of the forum thread was, here it is, 143 days since we last heard from Sojourner, and that was about 2 weeks ago.
It's been a hot minute. It really has. The last thing we heard was her sort of storming out of a meeting, wasn't it? Something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't quite read storming out into it, but yeah, she left.
She left. She left and refused to give comment to any press, I think.
Was that after she went with the Lee Yong Rui folks to see their brain simulator and decided
right? That was
something like that.
Something like that.
Wasn't quite the same as what she thought maybe Salvation was up to.
I don't know. Guys, do you feel this is going to be a difficult question for me to answer? Do you feel like we're going to have any resolution to that story?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
It's been the main narrative thread going for the last couple of years.
It'd be a kick in the teeth, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right. I'm curious. I'm curious if there's like a pre-scripted threshold that happens after we've gotten through 4 Titans, then we get our comeuppance and things get more difficult, and that involves some narrative event, or if we have to work our way mostly through this before something happens. It's impossible to know when they're going to roll out the next chapter.
Yeah.
And obviously they've been busy with new capabilities and new ships to buy and upgrading everyone's frame shift drives apparently, and there's a lot going on, but nothing really story wise. So it'll be curious to see when that picks up again.
And binning off the narrative team as well. From what we're aware of.
I was going to say that is that I have no doubt an ongoing story was planned, but I don't think what's currently happening, read the silence of Galnet, was planned. I,
Yeah.
I think they currently have no narrative team, so I rather feel like the Sojane story is just waiting for someone to come and write it. I'm probably talking nonsense. These things are probably written 6 months in advance, and the narrative team probably have written it already and then left. And I hope so, but
Yeah, I
I'm
would hope
slightly
so.
worried that we might never hear. There is the possibility that we will never hear the conclusion to any of these stories because the narrative team's gone and Frontier can't afford to employ one anymore.
It's funny, yeah. It's funny how they have always been discreet about plans and how things roll out, and things have gone well and poorly by various degrees. But knowing that they may well have had all of this scripted, and then the Odyssey rollout was so contentious and problematic, it cost them a year and a half of fiddling to try and make everything work. Or they might be adrift without a narrative team. There's not really any message coming from the mothership that would give us hints one way or another.
Other than the fact that there's no Galnet.
Yeah, and I mean, the most recent things have been, the little bits of Professor Palin unlocking some Guardian melty field weapons and things like that. So there's still a little bit of a current going on in the background about the Guardian side of stuff. But if I were in their position and had a limited amount of stuff to do and a limited amount of staff to make more stuff, I might be a little slow in letting it trickle out. We devour new content so quickly in this game. It's hard to blame a publisher for saying, all right, we're going to wait another 2 months before dropping a plot point, because as soon as it's dropped, it'll be yesterday's news and everybody will be gagging for the next one.
Yeah.
I'm quite amused to notice that Commander Exorcist, who does a weekly kind of discussion in lore, in game, in universe kind of discussion piece on a Tuesday called Taco Tuesday, and he picks up on the Galnet and sort of dives into it in a real nice kind of in-game sort of way without breaking the fourth wall. Has started making up his own Galnet stories so that he can just continue doing it. He's done about 3 months. They're quite good. Yeah, he just admitted it. He sort of, the first one caught me off guard because it was so close to the truth. I thought, oh, I've missed this Galnet, and then he kind of admits halfway through he had to make it up, and would continue to do so if there weren't any new ones. So.
Wow.
It's one way.
I mean, that's one way to make content for it, is make it up. Incredible. I don't know that Pete's using that particular method.
Yeah, not yet.
not yet, but never say never. Thyroid War update. Controlled systems have gone down to 603. They're down by 21 from the previous week. There's 10 invasions, 5 of which have been repulsed. The alerts is 36 alerts, of which 8 were defended, and there are 20 systems in recovery as of when I believe Colin updated this sheet. This Thursday, we'll see Haddad completely vulnerable unless something hand-wavium style happens. So even today, if you are not able to get on over the weekend, I would say if you are able to get on tonight or tomorrow or at any point over this week to do your 2 mil to get that decal, do it. Because it's going this weekend.
There's a buckyball race on. Can people just slow the fuck down for a week?
My guy, do it now before the buckyball on the weekend. Buckyball starts on Saturday. You're fine.
About 36 hours.
Literally nip over there. Do your 2 mil and you're fine.
And my intuition is that this one is going to go pretty quickly. I think there are going
I
to
believe
be
so.
A lot of Pythons launching 4 or 5 AX missiles at a time at the glowing pineapple, and getting there pretty quickly thanks to those SCO drives too, which is, I don't remember if is Haddad one of the super distant ones that a couple of them are into 5 or 6 digits in light seconds just to get to the Titan. But either way,
Haddad's the furthest one away. It's about 50. I think it's 50k out, something like that.
That's a bit of a cruise if you can't expedite it.
I wanted to say 30
Yeah, I think 30. I think
30
30
something.
is right now. You said it. It might be 40.
It's nothing. It's nothing with SEO, is it? It's
Yeah.
it's
It's
a bit of a haul
full job
without one.
done.
Yeah.
But so
Did Chris desperately want to say something about 5 minutes ago? By the way.
Yeah. I was just saying about Haddad. You could always just fly through the system. Like, because let's face it.
Oh.
Yeah, the Titan probably won't work properly again. So just fly through the system. You might get lucky.
Bank on the fact that they go, sorry, it's still not working. We're just going to give it to everyone again.
Yeah. So
my God.
just do that anyway. Because you might luck out. And yeah, the one thing I want to say was about the Sojine stuff is, like, so she ran away, and Azimuth have been champing at the bit to get her. So Aegis have just let her kind of. They've not sent anyone after her to go like, okay, yeah, run away, but we're just gonna make sure you're safe. Like, it just kind of feels like it was a dead stop after she left.
When did we have our last CG? How long ago was the last CG?
That was for the drives. That was getting stuff from the Titans for the FSDs.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
And then one before that for the unlocked Gauss cannons.
Crikey.
So it's been a little while, but that's all still very much new technology. So I'd say we're in the afterglow phase of that set of CGs.
I suppose. I suppose we're certainly not getting filler content at the moment, are we?
Yeah, I'm also curious to see the extent to which the narrative stuff might depend on or revolve around the Power Play 2.0 rollout. That there could be, some prelude to civil war or civil unrest or something like that they use as a narrative lever into the getting people to participate with Power Play 2.0. So we might be on kind of a summer doldrums between finishing off the war and getting ready to start something new and exciting with a new, a Type 8 and then Power Play 2.0.
So you mean
Here's the question.
Power Play is like a replacement narrative team.
Right.
Is it?
I mean, I think they're going to, but I can't. I hate saying that out loud, because if I say it out loud more, it's going to solidify it as something that is genuinely true, and it makes me sad. I know we haven't asked this of you, Indigo. A little while ago, we all made predictions about when we thought the Thargoid War was going to be over, when it was going to end, when all the Titans were going to be destroyed. Do you have an idea when you think that we're going to be no longer with Titans? Do you have a prediction that you can make?
I'd say at this point, it seems like it's going to be a fairly straightforward march through the end of them, however long it turns out to be, a few weeks in between each one going down. I wouldn't be surprised if we have something that expedites that along the way, one more Guardian-related CG that lets us have more genuinely useful weapons in the presence of a Titan. But barring some dramatic reveal, it doesn't feel like they're about to reinvent the Thargoid War just in time for the end. I imagine it'll get to some kind of detente after we get
Okay,
rid
I'm going
of,
to need a date from you, Mr. Diplomat. Give me a date.
How many more Titans are there? I haven't been keeping track.
I think there's
four
four after Dad, I think.
So I'll say beginning of September.
Beginning of September, okay.
That feels ambitious, but we'll see what maybe the new ships turn out to be more consequential than it immediately seems. But
beginning of September, that's Indigo's guess nailed in. Cool. This is the point where we'd normally go to the store alert. Really weirdly, we also don't have a store alert this week. I thought they'd be pumping out Python Mark II skins, but no. Alec, do you want to spend like maybe 5 minutes having a rant that everybody else had a couple of weeks ago?
Oh God, about ARX prices.
I mean, if you want, I mean, I've covered what I've wanted to say many times.
The only point, while I was listening to last week's show, while sipping a cocktail and watching the world sail by, was the only point that I thought I don't think anyone quite covered. I mean, you sailed close to it, but was my thing is and I see this around a lot. I do want to give Frontier more money, absolutely. And what I found with the Arc store is that there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of cosmetics that I've quite liked, but I've sort of skipped over it because I don't know, it was half of my remaining arcs or whatever my remaining arcs balance is. It was like, do I spend all of it on that Python, paint job that I quite like? And so there's a load of stuff in the store that basically everything in the store, I suppose, up to now, is stuff I've passed on. I quite like. There's some stuff I quite like, but I've passed on. Putting the price up is not going to make me buy any of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if they put the price down, I literally would have started spending arcs. I would have gone, great, I might grab those 2 ship paints that I quite like, and I'll get that gun thing, and I've run out of arcs, I'll buy a few more. I genuinely would have spent money if they'd put the price down. By putting the price up, they have guaranteed that they will get no money from me on the Arc store now. So I just yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not everybody, and we'll see how it works out, but I just think they're going to make less money this way, and that's a shame because I want them to make more money. And I don't think putting the price up is the way to do it.
Amazing. I think that's a very, very valid point that you make. I would like to, at this point, we'll take a couple of minutes and then we'll come back. I think we're going to jump straight into the question of the week.
Dreams. Humanity's dreams. The hope to live among the stars. From early times, we've gazed up to the heavens and wondered if one day we could travel there, maybe even live there. The Brewer Corporation has made this dream a reality, constructing intricate cathedrals of metal, circling numerous planets across thousands of systems in our human bubble. Why stay rooted in a gravity well when you can be free in orbit, free to dream, free to live, and one day to become a commander and be free to blaze your own trail? Brewer Corporation, the first step into the unknown. Come join us. Be free.
From the creators of luggage limpets and passenger lounge suitcase shuttles comes the latest revolution in passenger transportation, the passenger cannon. For centuries, circus performers have perfected the technique of being fired from a cannon. Paired with our new memory gel passenger pod impact absorption technology, you too can speed up disembarkation times from your liner by up to 250%. No longer be limited by pad sizes and excessive docking fees with the passenger cannon. But how does it all work? First, all passengers will be issued with a passenger pod inflation suit during transit. On approach to your passenger's destination, simply fill the inflation suit with our patented impact-absorbing memory gel. Then, once in a stable position in proximity to the destination, effortlessly slide them into the disembarkation chamber ready for launch. The passenger cannon is now available in both gimbaled and turreted varieties to make aiming elementary. Make your liner one of the top 1% in the galaxy. Buy a passenger cannon today. Warning, passenger cannon must not be operated on high-gravity planets or near geysers.
Space can be lonely, but sometimes that's just what you want. Choose your holiday, the gas giants of Alioth, partying the night away in Yorkville on Aquada, or even go back and find your ancestors on Earth. The Rockforth Corporation makes your holiday special and will let nothing disturb you.
Are you a commander who's tired of interstellar injustices? Do you find yourself constantly needing to express your displeasure? Look no further. Introducing the Manticore Pitchfork, crafted for the discerning commander who demands more than just a plasma gun to make their point. Made from ultra-durable, premium materials, these pitchforks are designed to handle even the most heated encounters with unruly aliens, malfunctioning droids, or pesky space pirates. Whether you're settling a dispute over asteroid mining rights or rioting about a non-compulsory feature, the Manticore Pitchfork has got you covered. With its sleek design and unbeatable durability, you'll be the envy of every commander in the galaxy. The Pitchfork will be in stores later this year, but if you cannot wait until then, you can get 3 months early access by visiting your nearest Frontline Solutions. Order today, and while stocks last, receive a free displeasure beacon. This lightweight handheld device combines all the functionality of a naked flame, but with 0 oxygen requirements. Now you can wield your torches in space, and even for a small fee, change their colour. The Manticore Pitchfork, when 280 characters aren't enough. Paul, right. So we asked a question of the week this week, and I was expecting it to be like a full list of no other questions other than no other answers other than one particular answer, and you proved me wrong, and I love it. Yes. I love it when I'm proved wrong. It's fantastic. So our question of the week this week was, we all know that there is a never before seen feature coming to Elite after PP 2.0. If time, money, and resource were no issue whatsoever, what feature would you like to see implemented in Elite Dangerous? Alec.
Let's go. LCU No 4 Like One says, where to start? First of all, I would like an addition to the store to allow us to pay ARCs to name systems, bodies, and or purchase stations. Some thoughts in the attached link, which I won't follow and read. If
it's on the show notes, so if you want to watch it, if you want to read it.
People can read in detail about naming bodies and purchases. Sounds good. If money is no object, then I would want thick atmosphere planets with water and caves and proc-gen flora and fauna. I think it would completely change the way we look for and record exobiology, but would make finds unique. Also, lip sync for our Hollow Me when we talk so we can make machinima, and also a way of recording the gameplay as vectors. Blimey, LCU doesn't want much. So that you can replay from any angle and edit paths for creating the perfect in-game video. It's not like I'm asking for much. Quite. Ship interiors and base building. CQB on fleet carriers and ships. What's CQB? CQB?
Maybe CQC?
Close quarter
Maybe.
battle.
Yep. Okay.
Or close quarter battles then, yeah.
And UVA, I think it means EVA, or maybe there's a word I don't know that begins with U. And derelict salvaging. Crikey, that's quite the list.
That is quite the list. That is quite the list.
I kind of quite like the idea of the vectors. It's a kind of daft thing, but I think basically what he means is a replay option, and that's how you achieve it. It would be good for movie making, wouldn't it? One thing I suffer from, it's great when you've got a friend like Burr and Rini and they've got each other. It's lovely, but yeah, when I want to do things and then film myself doing it, it's quite tricky.
So Planet Zoo not too long ago implemented this thing where you could plot paths for cameras.
Oh right, nice.
So it's doable in the Cobra engine. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, not too long ago, there's like this whole thing of flybys and stuff that you can plot for certain things and then record as it goes through. Which it's really neat. I don't know how well that would apply to Elite, or whether you could plot that. That's my favorite idea out of all of them that LCU provided. I think that's really cool. Cool. Kremen chipped in and said base building with plans on expanding the bubble. I genuinely believe that is the next feature that's coming.
Yeah, watch this space. I think that's what we're getting.
Yeah,
I genuinely believe it. I don't know whether it's going to be at a squadron level. It's not going to be at the individual level. I would guarantee you that, but potentially on the squadron or on the power play level, and all tying into that would be my guess.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
And then from gaming snips and bits, a call for atmospheric Earth-like worlds and water worlds, along with high-altitude gas giant flight. Any of that would be phenomenal. Ship interiors would be nice too, but I suspect FDev are sick of hearing about those. Probably not wrong.
Probably not wrong.
Or maybe they're excited to finally do it for us and make a bunch of people happy. But we'll see.
No.
Or not, as the case may be.
No.
Although I have to admit, on last week's Loose Screws, we sort of collectively changed our minds on whether there was any gameplay value attached to ship interiors around the idea of giving you an exit route or an entry route to your ship, and maybe allowing for EVA or something like that, as a little bit more exciting to us than having a stateroom with tchotchkes on it. But
yeah.
I
mean, Elsa, you nailed it, and I've always said this with ship interiors. Derelict salvaging is where ship interiors lie, and as a side effect, as a bonus, you get the fact that, well, now they've modelled the interior of the ship, you might as well walk around your own. But I don't need anything to do in my ship. I think people sweat over that too much. Just salvaging would be amazing, to go into wrecks and rummage around.
Yeah, I mean, that was a later addition to No Man's Sky, and had a lot of fun gameplay attached with it too. All of a sudden, you could land on a derelict megaship and go inside and find stuff.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, on the megaship level, really cool.
Okay.
I suppose though the ships are smaller in all of the ships are smaller in No Man's Sky, isn't it? You've got to think about scale. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be that, but right. This question of the week was including the if money and resource were no issue.
For
so
sure.
We're not looking
100%.
for possible. We're looking for ideal.
Okay, I've got one from Commander Evo Flash. Substantial planetary rework to provide massive rarity. Atmospherics with full landscaping, weather, and widespread variable life. Seas one can explore with onboard subs. Gas giants, upper atmosphere, real danger of these environments, no immunity to off-scale temps / corrosives.
I keep forgetting that part of the question was no expense, and I keep thinking these are ambitious, and I'm thinking, that's the point.
That's the fucking point, Alec.
We could spin off an entirely new game built inside this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did expect people to go into fantasy world with this one. I genuinely expected like a wave of just give me my ship interiors, which hasn't come, which has been quite nice.
It sort of has. Gaming Snips and Bits said ship interiors.
And so did LCU, but not everyone, and I expected it from everyone.
Gotcha.
I think submarines sound cool. That can be quite fun. Just don't make them out of carbon fiber.
Nobody's said it yet. I mean, I know a few people have mentioned like thick atmosphere planets and things. What I always kind of when Odyssey trailers and things first started. Oh no, it's before we knew what was going to be in Odyssey, and there was two schools of thought on what Odyssey would be. Either it would be elite feat or it would be atmospheric worlds. And in a way, we kind of got both, which was an unexpected surprise for me. But anyway, on the what I wanted from Atmospheric Worlds was weather. I always imagined flying through clouds and rain and stuff, and that was my kind of real fantasy wish for Odyssey, which didn't quite come true. We got blue skies, which were lovely, but I would love weather. Anyway, Misery Chord, I'm going to pronounce that, says full-scale galactic conquest with semi-limited player faction claim system for expansion out of the bubble, and a three-way fight between humans, Goids, and Guardians across the Milky Way, with AX/PX factions to allow for increased options for blazing one's own trail. That's all.
That's all. That's it.
That's all.
Yeah, that sounds great.
That's Stellaris, right? That feels like does that not feel like Stellaris? But
I feel
at a
like
more
something is
minute
being
level?
described there that I don't know. I feel like another game is being described there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think the Guardians would be easy to beat in that since they're dead.
Or are they?
Yes.
You wait, and Salvation gives them a little tickle, and then they're back up and running.
Yeah, we're all waiting.
That'll be the big surprise with Power Play 2.0. We'll discover that the Far God folks are back as a faction, and that the Utopians have been infected by the Guardian superintelligences. So we've got a couple of AX factions or Xeno factions.
There's a Guardian power with Salvation as the figurehead. When you start seeing the Salvation posters appearing in the Guardian strongholds.
What?
Then it's time to worry.
Into that, my brain would not be able to compute. I would genuinely short circuit and just stare at it for hours.
If the Far God cult came back as a power, and one of their, stronghold things was a hive chapel, that would be amazing. Because we hear them get described all the time, but they're never in game.
Wow.
Sort of like a ballroom scale version of the Thargoid sites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Frank 87.
What would those vending machines look like? Can you imagine?
No, probably exactly the fucking same with a repaint.
Frank, a little fungal growth on the side.
Indeed. Just a little bit, like one tiny solitary little bit of ooze that just sticks down the side. I don't know why I went there. Frank 87 says that they want multiplayer ring racing.
Coming next week.
Wonder Ross 104 Called it.
They want multiplayer ring racing. They want CQC to be a meaningful part of Power Play 2.0. I have a dream that all elite pilots could join together as one for a massive free-for-all battle. I think there are some PvPers that also feel that that same thing, like all elite players join together as one to fight, etc. But the peer-to-peer networking and the fact and lots of other problems just don't make that a feasible thing.
Unlimited
doesn't
money
have to be
for this, though, right?
feasible.
So we could just.
Right.
I know it doesn't. I know. Unlimited money.
We could get Elon Musk to redesign the internet.
Or not.
Faster.
Or
not.
Elon Musk redesigns the internet and everything turns off. We all know this. We have the great blackout. It's worse than lockdown because we can't talk to each other anymore.
Someone clever, but not a loon. Then
someone just like I'll take someone clever. You didn't even need to say but.
Someone clever and rich, but but not.
Yeah, someone clever and rich.
Who's secretly been playing Elite for all these years and is just waiting to swoop in and save everything. The next one is Anthony Byrne, in no particular order, just three little suggestions. Let us walk around our ships, atmospheric planets, and rework FPS completely. That one is a little potentially ambitious, but that's the order of the day. So rework FPS completely and atmospheric planets.
All of those things. Money is no issue. I remember I wrote money is no issue. I wrote money is no issue on the question.
On that, before Chris chips in, I can't remember if you covered this last week, but walking around our ships, has anyone looked at the Elite Dangerous thing they've done?
I mentioned that because I'm a good boy.
Ah, okay, well done, cool, good.
Thank you.
I had a little play with it; it was interesting, but
Yeah.
basically,
What,
it's a little mock-up of a Cobra cockpit that you can sort of walk around, and I think the idea is I think it's a work in progress. I think they have bigger plans for it, but I think the vague idea is that it's there for you to wander around your Cobra and think, what would I like to do?
Yeah,
Now,
I think you and Chris have both looked at it, because I remember Chris talking about this last week as well. I haven't had a look at it yet, but it's just wandering around a Cobra. Like, I was gonna say, I don't know why I thought it was in game.
no, it's just a web. It's just a 3D sort of model Cobra cockpit in a website
Right.
plugin
Okay.
thing, and so you just I can't remember it's WASD or something, and you can move around and. There's nothing to do. You can go through a door and there's some things to see, but I think it's like a work in progress, but also a place to think, what would I like to do? If I went back here, what would I like there to be back here? What would I like to be able to do? And
A little bit of like a proof of concept kind of thing.
yeah, rather than just people
Nice.
just going, oh, just give us interiors and there's plenty to do, rah, to actually think, what is there to
Yeah.
do? What would you genuinely like to do back here?
Yeah, and good to see in a Cobra too what the scale would be like if you were
Yeah.
moving around as a human, as opposed to something where there's obviously room like an anaconda.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay, I've got one from Palmiro. One, boat interiors. I assume that's supposed to be ship interiors. Atmospheric planets. Third, perhaps procedurally created cities and use of AI to interact with NPCs.
I like the idea of boat interiors as well. Ship interiors would be great, but boat interiors assumes boats, which means we get water. So, all right, I'll take that.
Yeah, and I assume
Or at least
the AI aspect is using some sort of generative AI. So when you speak to an NPC, it's like having a conversation that could go down multiple different branches. I guess would be my assumption with that.
it would be a bit like you can already get with ED Copilot with your in-ship generative AI voices, but extended to the outside world.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I've never really had those kind of Can you interact with the ED Copilot AI chat? I confess
I don't believe so. I think they're just generated based on whatever's going on around you.
Yeah, sounds like a cool idea, but Captain L. Harden, excuse me, says, yeah, collecting materials to build your own settlement or base. I'd build it on Titania with Uranus in the sky. For now. And obviously, I'd love to be able to walk around and live in my Asp Explorer. I'd be a big buyer if they sold decorations as they do bubbleheads. Mm-hmm. Base building.
Individual base building.
I mean, I'd like that.
I'd love it. I'd love it. Remember when they said it was when fleet carriers were going to be for squadrons, and then they moved it to individuals.
Yeah.
If they started like talking about base building and then said it was going to be for squadrons and then moved it to individuals, I would be fine with that. But it would need to be a lot of money.
I have a very selfish desire for base building, individual base building. I don't really care what the base itself is. I just want to be able to put two things on a planet that are closer than 250 kilometers so that we can race between them like we used to be able to do in the good old days.
And just name them point A and point B.
Yes.
I love that. I genuinely wouldn't be averse to seeing base building with some restrictions involved, but not so many in that, like, you wouldn't be able to build on restricted worlds or restricted systems and permit lock systems, things like that. But if money is no object, build fucking miles away kind of thing. Build over at Beagle Point, but it costs more for you to transport all of the items over there. So you're paying a premium to build a station over there, and then it would be limited by what it could offer and things like that. And it's another thing where another sink for these incredible funds that we've all built up, or that a lot of people have built up while they've been Thargoid hunting. So you'd see an initial bang of a lot of stations or places like that, and then that some of them might sort of trail off and no longer be feasible anymore. I don't know. I'm working this out in my head, and I'm getting more and more excited about them being individual now. And I can't see that happening. I can't see them doing that.
It's quite cool. I like the idea of having to cover the shipping costs. So if you build it further away from civilization, it costs more. That's quite fun.
Yeah, I think that would be the only way to make it. Otherwise, we just see things just spotting up everywhere, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but like anchor it in a little bit of realism with it costs more if you're doing it further away from where all the shit is. And all of the production predominantly is. So if it's close to Colonia, it's okay. If it's close to the bubble, if there are other anchoring systems which have life, then it might be a little cheaper. I bet you Darren's like, I've got that on a design document somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
100%. Proving me entirely wrong, Rapunzi by replied with ship interiors. And that's it. Well, I didn't say we got none. We just didn't get as many as I thought.
I think we'll probably see one or two more before we're done still.
Potentially so.
Right. MV Cohorn has a suggestion that I'm excited to get to read for a living stellar forge that allows stars to die, be created, and have new exploration content emerge naturally and actually motivate latecomers and new players to go out and explore the galaxy. Excuse me. As of now, there's commander names on every single nebula, notable stellar phenomena, life form, catalog, star, etc. And if you've ever visited planets that are about to collide or something like that, it would be remarkable to have a little nudge that let the cataclysm happen. And maybe had the asteroids actually moving in an asteroid belt instead of just spinning in place. That would be a fun way to get some new exploration content into the game for sure. Have a supernova someplace or something worth traveling across the galaxy to visit.
Yeah, Planet Collisions is where I went to with that as well. I was just thinking that would be amazing.
The other problem you might have with stars dying is what's it going to do to the planets in those systems?
Yeah, probably devour them.
Yeah,
that's usually the story, right? It gets huge and torches everything, and then eventually either explodes or gives up. But yeah, it would be cool to add some stellar phenomena that can be experienced on human timescales, whether those are collisions or supernovas or things like that.
Does anyone know, or any astronomers know how frequent things like stars dying are? I mean, I know relatively infrequent, but then multiply that by 400 billion.
And how many we can see at any one time, providing we know where to look.
How many stars die in our galaxy every year? Do you know what I mean? What I'm wondering is, this sounds a cool feature, but if you do it realistically, does it only happen once in a very long time? I have no idea. Or does several happen?
Yeah, that's a good question.
52 per century, or one every 1.9 years. This is from Astronomy Magazine. I've just Googled it. The grand total of stellar deaths in our galaxy is about 52 per century, or one every 1.9 years.
Huh. Awesome.
That's a very reasonable number. Interesting.
Not very interesting for a video game, though.
Yeah, it might take a while.
Not very
in a
frequent.
year and a half, you can go see an explosion.
Yeah.
Be cool though.
Yeah, I'm thinking more in Star Trek terms, where every few weeks you have to go save a society from an exploding star, or evacuate a system before it gets burned out.
Considering the number of people that rush to see a Titan explode, can you imagine the number of people that would rush to see a once-per-year star explosion? Be a good party.
Yeah, it would.
It really would. Chris?
Yeah, so I've got one from Silas Rezi, an outfitting planner. You can create preset builds and change your favorite Cobra Mark IV. That ship doesn't exist. From a mining skiff to an anti-Xeno in one click, which I think is a fantastic idea.
Yes, please. As soon as
Absolutely.
possible. Yeah.
Absolutely. Although I build ships for the one purpose and then leave them in my garage and never use them again.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I always thought when they introduced, what's it called, store multiple or something, there was that store multiple feature thing.
Yeah.
And I remember it being in the patch notes or something and thinking, what I imagined was that you'd basically store the whole lot as you'd name it or something, that collection of stuff, and you'd go store as mining Cobra outfit 1. And then you could later come back and go, I'd like to refit my mining Cobra outfit 1, please. But it's
that's a fucking dream, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even just a reciprocal effect to the store multiple that lets you recall multiple and equip them in a single action. Because I'm sure there are levels of complexity about, well, what if the things that you need for that loadout are on other ships or whatever else. But just being able to put more than one module at a time, like you can take them off, would be huge.
Yeah, store multiple was a real close but no banana. It's like, so close, but no. Buxton says the ability to turn Super Cruise Assist on and off using a button. God, Pete, this sounds. I mean, how hard can it be? Honestly,
money, no object. Everyone drink money.
Money
being no object.
People have
Give me
been
a
asking
button.
for this for years. Ready to do it. Instead of needing to hunt around in the navigation panel to find wherever you want to go.
That's the dream right there. That's the dream. Perfect game. 10 out of 10. No notes. Holy crap. Yes, please. Commander Rain God Zippo says got to be land on any planet, like First Encounters, but without the bugs. I mean, there's still gonna be bugs, mate. Even if money is no object, there's still gonna be bugs.
Nicey Guy says, floating station on gas giants. I'd love to shoot the gas balloons, keeping them floating. Oh, and a request docking keybind, please. I like that combo that we've got something super ambitious and something that, again, falls into the should be easy category, though. That category is a little generous.
I do really like the idea of floating stations on gas giants, though.
Okay.
That scratches an aesthetic itch. Like that would be beautiful.
Is it called Bespin in Star Wars?
Right.
The place where
that's where my mind went, and I don't think I've even seen that at Star Wars, but I can see the station.
Actually, planet's called Bespin. It's just called Cloud City.
My guy.
Right, I've got one from 4-7. The ability to land a ship-launched fighter on a planet surface for exobiology and Odyssey surface content. It does have wee legs. It should be able to land.
Again, yes, please. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
And you might as well throw in the ability to land on a small landing pad while you're at it.
And the ability to land on water while you're at it. Because money is no object.
Right.
Yeah, the water we get for free, but the ability to land on it, that's the feature that we need.
That's the feature, yeah.
I do have an occasional daydream that FDev are going to roll out multiple new features with their 4 new ships, and that the Type 8 will be some sort of landing craft or ability to deploy people to the ground in a conflict zone or something like that.
Oh, wow. So the Python comes with Super Cruise Overcharged, and then the Type 8 will come with water landing, and then each one comes with something amazing. That would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We get ship interiors with the new luxury ship. We'll get a medium size.
Wow, there's a dream. There's a dream. I like it. Commander Spike K says adaptive frame rate. Does anyone know? Isn't this just like G-Sync and things, or what does he mean?
That's a great question. It's a good job that we all know how to answer this.
Adaptive frame rate. Yes, please.
Yes,
we would like some of that.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
The more adaptive, the better.
Yes, quite. Commander Schnails says, at the risk of saying something that has been said before, I've got to go base building. The ability to build a base with a mining / agri / anything element, something that lures trade or the like. It would be a great way of expanding the bubble to new worlds, or if there was a large enough group, maybe even create a new region in space. It would be important to differentiate this from a static fleet carrier, but would be very doable, I feel. The fundamental modules for the buildings are already there in the existing bases, so it could be achieved with existing building blocks and a funding system on top. 110 million% agree.
Yeah, for sure. Bug80 says the ability to land on any planet with forest, lakes, wildlife, weather, etc. Think No Man's Sky, but with the beautiful graphics of Elite. Maybe to keep it in the intellectual property universe instead, say the equivalent of Planet Zoo in space. Would be pretty exciting. Getting to land on a planet that has grass and cute little animals and things that could kill you in your sleep.
Okay,
Not that happens much in Planet Zoo, I suspect, but you get the idea.
I know exactly what you mean.
Get going from DJ Wiley. Can it be boring? Yes. And be the first to suggest the obvious option of ship interiors.
Perhaps not the first, but one of the most reliable.
That's not the first, but although to be fair, I do Twitter first, and then I do Discord. So we ask a question in 2 different places. We ask it on Twitter. We ask it in Discord. I think actually DJ Wiley was the first, but just the way that I've organised them, he wasn't in this instance.
Brilliant. Buxton says, if this is a feature that's never been seen before, how about if FDev combined 2 of their products, Elite Roller Coaster Tycoon? I'm looking forward to someone building a theme park on a high gravity world. It'll have the fastest roller coasters in the galaxy.
What is the name of that game? They sent me a full PR package. Is it? I'm gonna have to figure it out. It's something park, but it's a theme park world in different gravitational. It's in like early access at the moment. It's in three. It's a theme park world, but in different gravities and with ridiculous roller coasters. That's that game. It already exists. Go and play it. I don't know if it's available, but go and play it when it becomes available. Is it theme park world in space? What like?
Sounds
like 2
good.
Point Hospital in space? Yes, it is.
Steak Typhoon would like to see the contacts panel get a rework, not the first mention we've seen of that, with the ability to sort, filter, search contacts within range, a cancel target or untarget keybind, and let the cursor stay where it is when a new contact is detected so it doesn't jump to the top a dozen times when I'm just trying to find an escape pod so those handsome pirates will think I'm pretty. There you go.
Amazing. The game is called Park Beyond, by the way. I will cover this. Finally, and buckle in, lads. We have the Jinx effect, who said offline mode, ? JK. A handful of minor features would be good to see. Station storage, not just for modules and ships, but for materials. Managing Odyssey materials is a chore, and cargo. Anyone feel free to jump in at any point. Actively alert players to events that POI is in system, rather than players going to the POI and awaiting an event. Trigger at random intervals when players are in the system. Alternatively, if player in open or PG triggers event at POI, alert other players in the system. Admittedly, this depends on players, then arriving at the correct instance when dropping from supercruise. Bookmark, blueprint, and highlight signpost materials. Outstanding materials from a blueprint could be highlighted with an icon next to the name. Commanders can be signposted to likely locations where materials can be found. Maps, nav panel, HUD text. I like those bits. That's very cool.
I feel like some third-party tools kind of have that last one covered, but
they do.
Obviously, in-game would be better.
Better ? JK. A bigger feature would be Squadron HQ and satellite offices. HQ would be based on home station with range of perks unlocked by Squadron. Offices would be based at stations in control of affiliated faction, slightly squeezing in an extra feature here with smaller subset of perks dependent on influence, system state, and resources. Possible perks. Squadron Trader. Trade engineered items with squadron mates and squadron specific cosmetics. Give me a space cape with my squadron logo on it, please. Oh my god, please. Just give me my squadron logo decal in game, please. We worked on it for weeks. Transport links between offices. Too far for the little adder? No problem. The squadron bus will get there. Social hub. Probably a given. Workshop, slightly reducing material cost of engineering. Associated engineer relationship tied to squadron rather than commander. Upper cap on trade, however, and no remote access / pinnable blueprints. And they've already forgotten their other ideas. But let's be honest,
there were several
they had a few.
Good one.
It's a good one. That's in Discord. You can see it in Discord, or it'll be in the show notes. I mean, people were inventive, and I was surprised. But a lot of people,
it's a good mix.
Yeah, a lot of people said base building. A lot of people said, a few people also said ship interiors, and there were some camera things worked in there. And yeah, it was a good mix of stuff that I wasn't expecting. When I wrote it and I typed it out and I pressed enter, and I was like, oh god, all it's going to be is ship interiors, and I've really fucked this. And then I was pleasantly surprised. So check next on Sunday around 2:00. Between 1 and 2 on Sunday, there should be a question of the week that goes out on Twitter and in our Discord. So come join our Discord as well, and we will read them out on a show. Moving on to any other business. Dragon Age Inquisition is the Game of the Year edition. The Game of the Year edition is free on this week's Epic Store. If you're listening to this, I think before Thursday, it's Epic's summer sale or spring sale or whatever time of the year sale it is. So there's a lot of good games that are going to be free on Epic at the moment. Dragon Age Inquisition is one of them. It's also one that I've been really pumped to play at some point, and I've really wanted to play. So the fact that it came up meant that I didn't have to spend money, which is always a bonus. So there's that. Has anyone got any other business that they have?
I have one little thing in the realm of other games that I just, you okay there?
Yeah, go for it.
A college friend of mine got himself in the position to make a passion project video game that he'd been thinking about for 20 years. And it turned out to be the game Pentiment, which just last week, I think, won a Peabody Award. So
that's so
I have
cool.
to congratulate the people who worked on that. It's kind of a love story to medieval history, and The Name of the Rose, it's a murder mystery sort of set in medieval Bavaria. And it's well regarded and well reviewed, and if that's the kind of game that interests you, you should check it out because it's just lovely. And I'm just so pleased for everybody who worked on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so cool. We'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. And finally, one other thing that I've just been reminded us. My friends, your friends, everybody's friends, we love them. The team behind Deliver Us Earth and Deliver Us Mars have announced, Kirkin have announced that Deliver Us Home is going to be on Kickstarter very soon. This is, we're talking imminent. They're going to be launching a Kickstarter for Deliver Us the Moon and Deliver Us Mars. It's not Deliver Us Earth, sorry, my bad. The last game in this trilogy is called Deliver Us Home, and it is if the last two games are anything to go by, this is going to be absolutely stunning and a wonderful narrative journey. So if you have the fiscal means able to do so, consider when that Kickstarter drops, backing that game. I know I will, and probably to an extent that is not healthy or something that I'm fiscally able to do. But that's on me. Do as I say, not as I do. Cool then, in which case we shall move on to the shout-outs. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, broadcasts on Thursdays from 8:30 p.m. You can tune in at twitch.tv/Hutton Orbital Trackers, or for just the audio at radio.forthemug.com. For the discerning commander who likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/Elite Dangerous CQC. We're also giving shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts, which exist. There is the Guard Frequency, who do other space games, and also Loose Screws, but I've never really heard of them. I'm sure.
Hey, right back, actually.
Oh, sorry. And also, if you don't let the funky music do the talking and indeed speak French, our friends over at Elite Dangerous also do a podcast. Following this, we do somehow have the latest Galnet news digest as provided by Commander Wotherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. Love you guys. Well done for squeezing content out of this game. Thank you.
He makes up the news so Frontier don't have to.
Absolutely, he does. Thank you to those who have chipped in on Twitch chat. And if you met up in game, well done. Special thanks go to Commander Takoso, JN Trax, and Alan Strout, who created the music used on the show. Hey, guess what? That's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you would like to get in touch with the show, then you can find contact links in the home/contact us menu of the laveradio.com website. Do let us know if you have any questions or if there is anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 p.m. and streamed out on laveradio.com/live. Thank you to Commander Indigo.
Cheers. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Thank you to Alec.
Good to be back. Thanks all. Bye.
And special thanks to the loveliest tech specialist that we have. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that. The Chris Mark 5, my husband, Chris.
You're welcome.
And thank you for being on the show as well. I hope Colin's back next week because I can't do this again. Until next time, Commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this?
Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. Need a safe word.
Space can be lonely.
I'm going to see the galaxy.
Galnet News Digest, 21st of May 3310. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, we're approaching the halfway mark of Titan destruction. A commander is accused of making a mess at Beagle Point. And not one, but two commanders have completed the Hutton run in less than 30 minutes.
Unless something goes horribly wrong, the fourth Titan will be destroyed this coming weekend. Titan Haddad, which is notable for its inconvenient distance from the jump-in point, is expected to control just 2 systems by Thursday, making it highly vulnerable to direct attack. Using nanite torpedoes and AX missile racks, the community is expected to pile in from Thursday evening to destroy Haddad's 8 thermal core-based hearts. Following which, it seems likely that there will be 24 hours to rescue trapped humans and murder fleeing Orthrus interceptors before the Titan explodes. Anyone who inflicts 2 million credits worth of damage to Haddad's thermal core in the week before it explodes, and that means any time from now, will earn cosmetic rewards, and arcs will also be awarded for inflicting damage on each of the 8 hearts. Some cynics have suggested that the cosmetic rewards can be earned just by turning up in the HIP 30377 system for a couple of minutes. But we know that this won't be true this time round. Commanders are advised where possible to bring a ship with the Achilles Supercruise Overcharge FSD to avoid most of the inevitable and tiresome string of interdictions that accompany any supercruise through Thargoid-controlled space.
A canon councillor who should know better has been accused of littering after he admitted dropping Hutton mugs and Lavian brandy at the famous Beagle Point and Isham's Reach tourist destinations. Councillor Sovereign Winter explained that over the past 6 years he's been flying regularly to Beagle Point and to Isham's Reach, the points furthest from Sol on the diametrically opposite side of the galactic plane, to fulfill his ambition to be the first pilot to take every one of the 38 types of starship across the galaxy. On each of these transgalactic flights, Commander Winter took Lavian brandy and a Hutton mug, and inexplicably chose to abandon them in orbit around Beagle Point. He later compounded his crimes against the environment by leaving 38 Lavian brandies and 38 Hutton mugs in a crater on distant moon at Isham's Reach. Sadly, there does not appear to be a galactic authority responsible for enforcing the cleanliness of these distant beauty spots, so the councillor's crimes are likely to go unpunished. Commander Sovereign Winter can't afford to rest on his laurels, though. On the 7th of August, a 39th ship, the Python Mark II, becomes generally available. With a promise of 3 more ships after that and before the end of the year, the Councillor's completionist urges will presumably result in transgalactic trips 39 to 42 inclusive. These trips may seem a bit eccentric, but they weren't entirely about pointless self-sacrifice. His 82,000 jumps and 6.5 million light-years travelled so far have netted Sovereign Winter 115 billion credits in profit, which is nearly enough to be able to afford a new paint job for every one of his 38 ships, even at the new prices.
With the availability of the Achilles SCO frameshift drive, Hutton run records continue to fall. If we discount Commander Vulkaris' Thargoid-assisted 52 minutes and 31 seconds in early 3309, Commander Happy Moon Monkey pioneered the SCO with refuelling stops approach that has been shattering all previous records, completing the run in a little over 31 minutes. Commander Stargoid slightly improved on this and became the first commander to complete the Hutton run in less than 30 minutes. The current record holder, Commander Asilaran, has done even better and has completed the Hutton run in just 28 minutes and 3 seconds. The new faster version of the Hutton run requires more skill than the pointed at Hutton and wait for 80 minutes approach that had previously been used. It also requires having at least 3 friends who are willing to wait along the route to refuel you, because Hutton really is a long, long way from everywhere else.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.